What up, team? I'm Captain Kirk. Welcome to Capt'n Kirks Movie Queue. Just wanted to give you a quick reminder and inform those that don't know. On our channel, we keep a running list of the top 10 movies that we've watched and reviewed so far. Here's where we stand so far. So take a look at the other videos on this channel to see why they ended up where they did, and make sure to stick around to the end of this one, because today we're taking a look at Taxi. This one is a remake of a 1998 French film of the same name, directed by Tim Story, who made his debut a couple years prior with Barbershop. He also did both Fantastic Four films, but he's better known for his later work with Kevin Hart on a ton of projects in the early 2010s. Taxi is another offbeat buddy cop comedy that reminds me a lot of The Italian Job, but from the viewpoint of a screw-up New York cop and a hothead taxi driver with a crazy knowledge and obsession with cars. Released in October 2004 with a budget of $25 million, this is one of the more commercially successful movies we have looked at so far, bringing in a whopping $71 million. And I have no doubt that most of that was due to the big name co-stars they brought in on this one, Queen Latifah playing Belle, and Jimmy Fallon starring as Andy. That and the directorial decision to replace the bank robbers with supermodels.
We are looking for Jesse and Chester.
Who are you guys?
We are not guys. We are hot chicks.
Yeah, you knew what you were doing there. The movie opens with Belle speeding through the streets of New York on a bike, weaving through traffic. At one point even going through the subway. The scene is over the top right off the bat, and any one of these situations could have got her killed. Amazingly, she arrives at the bus depot. Turns out she was racing to beat the record time, 13 minutes. 13 solid minutes. She was hard pedaling through the streets of New York, jumping and diving and doing all of these crazy things. When she gets there, not a drop of sweat, not out of breath at all, perfect makeup, no shot.
If I keep my body moving and my mind occupied at all times, I will avoid falling into a bottomless pit of despair.
Strike one. But Joey Diaz has a cameo as the owner of the bike shop, so I'll revert that strike. And this is where we are introduced to her boyfriend, Jesse, of course. And we find out that it is her last day on the bike. She's finally getting her cab license to fulfill a lifelong dream of being a taxi driver. Yeah, I didn't get it either. Of course she's not making that. She hasn't gone and got her license yet to drive the taxi. Anyone can tell you that a DMV trip is going to take a minimum half a day, not 30 minutes before they close. Even if you have an appointment, you're not making that. Her last day at the bike store was today, and her first day as a driver is tomorrow. So she waited until the very last day to get her license. Either that or she could have just given herself some more time at the bike place. I don't know. It seems like a irrational decision to me. So, shockingly, she misses dinner. We then cut to the start of her first day in the cab. I did chuckle at the Jeff Gordon picture under the visor. Fun fact, his wife Ingrid actually plays one of the supermodel bank robbers. He also makes a brief cameo at the end, but we'll touch on that later. The time has come. Time for her first fare. She goes into this cab transformation, which takes a while, and so of course the guy's freaking out. But this transformation is just wild. Like, why not just leave the cab like that? You would think that all of these upgrades and stuff would add a ton of weight to the car, so why not just cut out all the extra with it transforming and doing all this and just leave it one way or the other? And wouldn't you know it, she gets in a full-blown police chase her first day as a cab driver. She manages to get him there and transforms the car back and hides in all the rest of the taxis. So, I mean, I guess the switch makes sense. Incognito. I don't know. We then get a brief cut to meet the girl group. A set of Brazilian supermodel bank robbers. Almost like an anti-Charlie's Angels.
Good morning, Angels.
Good morning, Charlie.
But quickly, the movie jumps back to Andy, our protagonist, who's undercover. He's dressed as a Walmart brand Cuban in New York City. So he and his partner are undercover to do a buy on what looks to be, and I can only assume is stolen electronics. Give me all your goodies. It's going pretty well, but of course Andy runs his mouth too much. He blows the entire deal. His partner gets shot, and now Andy has to drive him to the hospital. And it goes terrible. He immediately crashes into a bodega and is called into the lieutenant's office, who's played by Jennifer Espizota. I think that's how you say it. I could get it wrong. Forgive me. But she's best known for her work in Law and Order.
Let's all go to court. Let's go make some fun now.
And, of course, Lieutenant takes his license away. Honestly, the best call. And we find out later that Andy and the lieutenant had a relationship in college and I believe in the police academy as well. The movie then cuts back to Belle, who's for some reason just now talking to her boyfriend for the first time since yesterday. He forgives her, but he tells her not to be late again because tonight he's got even bigger plans. And it's revealed later he's planning on proposing. Wonder if she's going to make that. Unbeknownst to her, though, right up the road, Jimmy is walking and hears a call for a robbery in progress. And even though he literally just had his license taken, he tries to apprehend a vehicle and pursue chase. And this action causes a comically large car crash. This leads him to jump into Belle's cab, where he tells her, "I'm a cop, you can drive it however you want," and they take pursuit. Somehow the cab can change while in motion now? Why didn't she just do that the first time? I don't know. I'm going to let it go. I just simply don't get the whole Transformer thing. So the girls think they've gotten away. They take their mask off to reveal perfect makeup. Of course, Charlie's Angels. It's got to be perfect. Belle and Andy quickly catch up. They end up getting trapped in an alleyway, and Belle catches a look at the supermodels' faces. Belle and Andy get trapped by a truck in the alleyway, and the girls get away. Belle and Andy end up having a huge argument because they think there was some damage done to her taxi.
It's gonna pay that.
This is a badge, okay? That means you're not allowed to scream at me. No.
Give me this thing.
I've never been to prison. I'm pretty sure you can't just take a cop's gun and his badge and wave it around at him, no matter how crappy of a cop he is. After this chase, they take Belle's cab as evidence. She can't get it back until after the investigation because it was shot. They think that this is evidence until they find out that Andy's actually the one that shot the cab. So because of this, the FBI kicks him off the case. Andy and Bella team up because Bella has a lead. Using her freaky car knowledge, she figures out the girls had run flat tires. And apparently there's only one place in the city that you can go to get those. So they set up a sting operation. Unfortunately, Bella's car is impounded under police investigation. So they have to take Andy's mom's car, a Daewoo.
Got killed by a Daewoo Lanos, motherfucker.
We jump to the garage, where Andy and Bella are set up for the sting operation, and Charlie's Angels sure enough show up. Andy wants to be the hero and take them on right away, but Bella wants to play it safe and call for backup. So, what happens? Andy goes out to try and take him down. Honestly, I don't know why, but this scene really got me. I think it was something to do with Andy immediately being hit with the gun, and Bella's just pure honest reaction and trying to panic and back up to get away. Like, same. It doesn't work. They both get captured. But somehow they slip away to the back room after a little bit of bickering back and forth, and they're pinned down in this back room with no way out. And holy crap, look at that grouping. These girls are elite. Andy decides it's going to be a good idea to open the nitrous oxide tank beside of them and threatens to blow them up. Yeah, we know where this one's going. Andy's challenging them to a fist fight, but all the while the room's filling with nitrous and the girls are already hightailing it out of there. They try to get out, but somehow Andy breaks the handle and causes them to actually be trapped in this room now as it fills with nitrous oxide. So, of course, they start to get all loopy. It's actually a pretty hilarious scene. This one got me too. This whole entire bit was this was gold. Because it turns out there was an unlocked back door the entire time. They could have got out at any point. You can tell that she wants to yell at him so badly, but just can't because of the laughing gas and their voices are all deep.
I hate you, man. Was I hate your freaking guts. I'd be the dumbest cop I've ever met.
I don't know why, but man, this one got me. It's stupid, but I love it. Now, after all of this settles, Belle decides to take Andy with her to her boyfriend to explain why she's been gone the last few nights and that she hasn't actually been standing him up. Of course, you can guess this also goes terribly. The boyfriend is only mad, and he melts Andy's badge. The next morning, Bella translates something that the girl said into Portuguese, leading them to another clue. So they rush down to the precinct to try and share with the lieutenant what they found out, but they're met by absolute chaos. Turns out they're already too late, and that the next robbery is currently in progress. Andy, still being banned from the case, They try and go get Bella's car out of the impound, where they have to lie and pretend that they're both cops to get it out. Lieutenant catches on to them right away and sends a group of police out to go find them. Side note, to get her car out, they need 2 cop signatures, so they lie to Patton Oswalt. Now, I am certain that if nothing else that they've done, this is a felony. They are in a win or lose situation here. There is no fail. Because if they mess this up and get caught, there's no way they're not going to prison, especially if somebody dies. But they get the car out and they go. At this point now, we have Bella and Andy looking for Charlie's Angels and the police looking for both of them. The radio says that the girls are heading east, but Belle uses her crazy local New York superpowers again to reverse psychology it and figure out that they're actually going the other way. So, chase ensues. This taxi is back to spoil the day again.
Vengeance.
All things considered, the driving in this movie is actually pretty good. Unless it's all CGI, in which case the CGI is pretty good. That is, until the cab wrecks. The girls get away again. They immediately pull off the highway and pull a wrap off of their car to change the color. And so now the police are just looking for a 4-door BMW. They decide to pull it over in a routine stop anyways. They end up letting the girls go because at this point, Belle hasn't told them that it's 4 women. We then jump back to the precinct, where Lieutenant's sitting down with Andy and Belle. She takes Belle's license and fires Andy immediately. Honestly, I thought there were going to be worse repercussions. This isn't that bad. Either way, Andy's crushed. But now it's up to Belle to convince him that they need to go and finish the job. So they take all the mods off her car, which somehow they still have, and they go incognito. This gives us what I think is probably the most famous scene from the movie of Andy learning how to drive by singing that one song. But at this point, they still don't know where the girls are going to hit next. So they go back to Andy's house where they found Belle's boyfriend. His mom had called him over and he's explained everything. So they all brainstorm together over some dinner and some margaritas, of course, to figure out what the girls' next move is going to be. And they all brainstorm. They figure out that it's always on garbage day, that they've been blackmailing the garbage man by holding his family captive so that they can have a place to do a quick drop, run, pick, and grab. Figuring all this out, Belle and Andy head to where they believe the next heist is going to be. Andy calls Lieutenant on the way, praying that she believes him, and against everything that's happened, she does. Because when Andy and Belle get there, they roll in deep with police and SWAT. The girls aren't going out easily. They take a hostage where Lieutenant decides that she's going to volunteer and trade places to be the sacrifice.
Hi, I'm Renata Bliss, and I'm your freestyle dance teacher.
Bet you thought I was going to play the Hunger Games thing, didn't you?
I volunteer as tribute.
Gotcha. Just like that, we're off again.
It's showtime! Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing today, boys!
Bella calls her old bike gang and uses them to track down the BMW and track them. I gotta say, Andrew Garfield does a fantastic job in this role.
No, you are amazing. I can take that. You are amazing. Thank you.
Bella and Andy end up finding their hideout and all the money, calling the girls and setting up an exchange. The money for the lieutenant. After a long setup, Andy comes up with a plan to send them off the unfinished highway. 2 things about this. No way they made that jump clean. And 2, how did Andy know that there was a piece there for them to land on, only looking at a paper map? He definitely planned on them just dying. And here we are. The girls are busted. Somehow Belle gets shot in this, and Andy has to drive them to the hospital. And he gets them there all right, but then drives directly into the waiting room. Easily could have killed hundreds of people, but whatever. He got there. There you have it. Taxi. The day is saved. Andy and Lieutenant are back together as undercover cops. Belle gets to become a NASCAR driver. We get that Jeff Gordon cameo I mentioned. And the NASCAR footage that they used in this looks sick. It's just straight out of the 90s stock car racing when it was still the Winston Cup. Looks awesome. All that said, while Taxi was a fun movie and certainly had its moments, I can't really say it was a good movie, and everything that I read says that the original was way better. I did enjoy it for the most part, but I have that sense of humor for dumb dorky comedy. I can see Taxi quickly making an exit out of the top 10, but for now, until we get there, Taxi sits at a clean 5th pole position. If you all like this type of content and bad dad jokes, make sure to subscribe and be notified when new videos come out. If you disagree with the list at all, or you have any other suggestions I should add to the queue, put them in the comments down below. Over time, as the list starts to grow, We'll periodically hold polls where you guys get to have a say in what movies need to be in the top 10. Thank you all so much for taking the time to watch with me. Until the next one, peace.